It was 40 years ago today that the space race took a massive leap forward with the launching of the International Ultraviolet Explorer IUE, often called the most successful satellite sent off this planet. The IUE was launched aboard a Delta rocket belonging to America's National Aeronautics and Space Administration, better known as NASA. The international element was because the satellite was a collaboration between NASA, the UK Science and Research Council UKSRC and the European Space Agency ESA. The initiative for the project came from Britain, and there was a Scottish connection as the man who had the idea, Robert Wilson, was the son of a Durham miner who did his PhD at Edinburgh University and worked at the Royal Observatory in the Scottish capital. He was rightly considered the father of the IUE and was later knighted for this and many other achievements in astronomy before he died in 2002. The British were involved, most certainly. Wilson came up with the idea in the early 1960s, and proposed a large astronomical satellite capable of making ultraviolet observations that could not be made from Earth. In 1964, he formalized the idea to the European Space Research Organisation ESRO, of which the UK was one of the 10 founders, but it was rejected on grounds of cost. Wilson kept refining his plans and tried again in 1966, but the following year they rejected it and abandoned their studies altogether. In 1968, Wilson convinced the UK government that the project should continue, but again ESRO rejected the proposal. Still he didn't give up. Wilson took the plan to NASA in 1972 and they agreed to provide the launch, the 45 cm mirror telescope, and the spacecraft engineering support. The ESA provided the solar panels and a satellite command station outside Madrid in Spain, and the UK provided the vital Vidicon cameras which recorded the observations. What did the Explorer do? The short and long wavelength spectrographic cameras on board IUE covered ultraviolet wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation that are normally obscured from the ground by the Earth's protective ozone layer. Many objects in the universe emit ultraviolet light. A whole new environment was opened to astronomers who flocked to make observations in the Goddard Space Flight Center and VILSPA, the Villafranca Satellite Control Station. Observations by IUE included virtually every type of object in the universe, from planets and stars to galaxies. One of IUE's strengths was the ability to rapidly respond to targets of opportunity such as comets, novae and supernovae, so IUE obtained the only ultraviolet data of the outburst of supernova 1987A in the Large Magellanic Cloud. By tracking on the nucleus of fast-moving comet Iris-Arecibo-Koch, IUE was able to obtain the first detection of molecular sulfur in a comet, and during July 1994, IUE spent a good deal of time observing Jupiter when comet Shoemaker-Levy collided with the planet. So what happened to the Explorer? From the outset, the IUE was planned as a guest observer facility, and 1,700 different astronomers made observations via IUE in the first 12 years of its operation, including a very significant numbers of the astronomers working in the US and Europe at that time. By the end of 1989, 1870 scientific papers, using IUE observations, had been published in refereed journals. The incredible aspect of IUE was its longevity. It had an expected working life of 3 years, but exceeded that by a factor of 6. When the satellite was shut down on September 30, 1996, it had been in continuous operation for 18 years and 9 months, and more than 104,000 separate observations had been made using the satellite. It's still up to there and will probably orbit Earth for a very long time to come.